As long as he behaves himself. The high kills is phenomenal. We do kirtan with that for a while, and let me start Jadera Pratishta Sukha Edapishta. You know what that means? Jadera Pratishta means worldly fame. Worldly name and fame is Sukha Edapishta. You know what Sukha means? No. Sukara means like what is it? Sukara Rupa. Sukara Rupa, huh? Keshava Drita, Sukara Rupa. Jai Jagatisha Hari. Sukara? Yes, Sukara Rupa. Means happy? No, means pig, hog.
Oh.
It's the Varahadev, but it is not exactly Varahadev that they're talking about here. They're saying Sukha Bishta. Bishta means stool. So Jadera Bishta, Sukha Bishta. This is Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur statement. And his song Vaishnav Ki. Jadera Bishta, Sukha Bishta. This is a very dangerous thing. It's, in some ways, it's even more dangerous than imitating Haridas Thakur by going into seclusion, to try to eke out some name and fame from the very few people that come to see you. Because you're in the thick of it and everyone's praising you. And making you feel righteous about the whole thing because you're out there on the front lines, you're a Sankirtan man, so everyone starts to glorify you. What difference is it? Whether you're doing that for name and fame or whether you're doing this for name and fame. It's the same, what kind of Vaishnava might your mind, what kind of Vaishnava are you? Banging on the mridanga for name and fame, wailing on the harmonium for name and fame, croaking out a few, what is it called? Frog croaks. Prabhupada said the best singing in this world, in comparison to the heavenly planets, what to speak of Vaikuntha and what to speak of the gopis singing, or the gopas singing in the Golok Raja. The best singing in this world is comparable to the croaking of frogs. So we should always kind of like balance our opinion of ourselves. We should be intelligent enough to, at least not develop too high of an estimation. The famous frog croaking in his well. Because he's croaking, about his own glories, on the plea of chanting Hare Krishna. Without understanding the ocean, the length and breadth and depth of the ocean of the qualification of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, associates of Lord Krishna. Just remember, one thing that will help you be a little humble is to remember that if you ever get back to Godhead, or even go to the Bhomali of Lord Chaitanya, you'll be lucky if they even let you hold prayer conference. We're thinking we're, excuse me, hot shit leaders, kirtan leaders and stuff. But you know, you can't even imagine how good Mukunda sings, or how good Sarup Damodar sings. You can't even imagine how beautifully they sing. For the pleasure of Lord Jesus. So you can hardly hope you'll be lucky to even hear them sing. Of course, maybe sometimes, you know, they're busy doing something else, you know, while no one else is around. You might let your being cured. But just like just like, you know, when it's off season. I used to be a little bit ticked off at this. That, you know, all these guys come in from all over the world, you know, get up there on the Bhagavad Asan and give their classes and everything, ranting and raving about this and that and the other, as if they're the only ones that have anything to share with anybody. You know, but you know, it's like I used to give class, you know, and they let me give class maybe, you know, once or twice a month. You know, it's kind of like once in a blue moon. You know, you didn't really. As soon as you got, it's like dressing the deities. When you get on the altar, you know, after a month, you're kind of rusty. Because you're not in the groove. You're not flowing. You know, so once in a blue moon, they let me give class. You know, but forget it when festival season comes. You know, there's no question of me getting up there and telling the other guys what I think about things. I got to hear what they think about things. You know, and you know, lately I've been, you know, puffed up enough to stand up and interject a few thoughts, you know, afterthoughts here and there. But you know, when all the big guns are around, you kind of like, you know, step aside. It's like you're trying to get to see the deities. I used to hate festival time because I could never see the deities the way I used to. You know, the other times of the year was so much more nectar because, you know, like no one was around. I'd just be able, especially summertime. There's no cool kids or nothing around. You know, all this, you know, business going on over there isn't happening. You know, it's just, you know, it's like a real normal human being kirtan. You know, and I get to stand over there, you know, in front of Radhasham, you know, and have the whole altar to myself. You know, me and Radhasham. A few others. But, you know, festival time comes, and all the big guys with the dundas start, you know, waltzing back and forth, you know, in front of the deities. You know, and the dundas are all sticking up, you know. It's not supposed to be sticking their dundas up in front of everybody, like everybody's got to take darshan of their dundas if it's more important than getting the darshan of the deities, for God's sake. It's supposed to have enough courtesy to put their dundas over on the side of the altar and hope they don't get mixed up. Put name tags on them or something. You know, so the devotees can see the deity, but no, there's 10 or 15 guys with these mridungas, and they're not dancing, you know, all in the same direction as, you know, like, you know, all these guns are going, you know, like 5 dungas are going like this, you know, and you're trying to see through the windshield wipers, you know. So sometimes, you know, we might think, oh God, you know, it's a little discouraging. I'm going to go back home, back to Godhead, and I'm not even going to hardly even be able to hold a pair of cards. Where's the hope of me ever to be able to sing for Krishna? You know, that should be enough to keep you a little more, make you try harder to become a little more qualified. One thing's for sure is that they'll never let you sing for Krishna if you're not going to sing for His pleasure. You're singing for your own profit, adoration, and distinction. But you know it, and I know it. There's just subtle sense. You gotta be real. We're not rock and roll stars anymore. I went through that whole thing. I'm trying to make it, you know, in the rock and roll scene. That's my answer to that.
You're pretty useless.
Yeah, it's a useless affair. You know. And then Prabhupada, when I came to the temple, after about 1 week, I heard the Prabhupada said that the guitar was a 6-string for China. And from that day on, I never touched it. Even though in another place, Prabhupada said the guitar played nicely is better than a sitar played poorly. But I'm sure he didn't do much in it. Look at our John McLaughlin, Jerry Garcia, and it is a very difficult thing to overcome, because you start out with this nonsense mentality, and especially if you're a little good, people start praising. People are always coming to me telling me how good my kirtan is, and I've learned to live with it. You know how I've learned to live with it? And it's a very important thing to understand. You have to understand that not even the oyster can open and close its mouth without the help of Krishna's Achintya Shakti. That the Shakti is doing everything. Krishna Shakti Vini Nahi Tarapavartana. No one can preach the glories of the holy name without being empowered by Krishna's Shakti to actually chant purely. Even if we're chanting impurely, even if we're chanting offensively, that power to chant offensively is Krishna's Shakti. We are not these mouths. We are not these vocal cords. We're not the ingoing and outgoing airs. We're not the intelligence, nor are we the mind. We have hardly anything to do with the fact that action and reaction is going on. We're seated as the observer, and Krishna within the heart is the super observer. We're desiring, and we're watching the film on the movie screen of our mind and identifying with it sympathetically, as if I was the character on that screen. Just like Charlton Heston or somebody wearing a cowboy hat, people watching the movie start to act like him and think like him and talk like him and smoke the same band of cigarettes and, wearing the same hat, because they're thinking, they're identifying, I am Charlton Heston. You know who I'm talking about. You know what?
Obviously, to the purity of the chanting, that's preaching or not.
Yeah, of course. We always have to remember that we're supposed to be representing, when we come to take into the fold of this movement, just like when you come to Vrindavan, by putting one footstep in this land of Vrindavan, immediately you're eternally duty bound to preach the glories of Vrindavan. As soon as you put one foot on this dust, you have an eternal responsibility from that moment on to preach the glories of Vrindavan, either while remaining in Vrindavan or if you have to go out from Vrindavan. Immediately you have that. So similarly, because this is the sampradaya which is bound to preach the glories of Vrindavan as per the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the 6 Goswamis, etc. whom we're following. So immediately, as soon as we enter here, into this society, we become duty bound to find out what we're supposed to be representing. It's just like a citizen of a country it's his duty to find out what are the laws of the country and abide by them. So similarly, the citizens, or what do you call it? Constituents of a society are, it is the importance. We should not underestimate the importance of finding out what this society stands for. This sampradaya is meant to distribute prema bhakti to the whole world. So what part are we going to play in it if we're not chanting prema nam sankirtan? We have to participate in that, to actually make a solid contribution. Our chanting has to be in pursuit of prema. Prema dharma doesn't just mean that we're on the platform of prema, but it means that we're in pursuit of prema. Prema pramana. No, it means to be. It means to be in the pure stage. Don't remain on the neophyte platform. It's very important for you to understand this. Prabhupada's intention was not to collect a bunch of neophyte devotees. Prabhupada's intention was to collect men who were very serious about at least progressing to the Madhyam stage. There's no reason why you can't. You can do it quicker than you think or anyone else does, if you want to. There's no difficulty. The difference between offensive chanting and unoffensive chanting and pure chanting should be clearly understood. Offensive chanting means that you're doing it for sense gratification, name and fame, etc. That is namaparat. Because it's maintaining material attachments even after understanding so many instructions and so many things. Using the chanting of the holy name for material aggrandizement. Just like people are doing are profit motivated in their professional kirtan performances. This is aparad nam. It's not nam at all. It's the what is it called? The Vishwarup of Nam. It's the external universal body of Nam. If people worship the universal form of Krishna, do you think they're going to Golok Dham? No. They remain in the material world to worship the universal form of Krishna. So the aparad nam is that nam which is after bhukti or mukti. Even to be after mukti is an offense against the holy name. The unoffensive nam is that nam which is neither after bhukti or mukti, nor is it actually intent on giving pleasure to Krishna. But at least it's not chanted with the intention of gaining bhukti or mukti for one's personal aggrandizement. So therefore it's considered to be offenseless. Abbas is an in reflection, shadow of Nam. It's not the real form of Nam. Because it's not pure. What constitutes pure chanting is very simple. It's not at all difficult. What constitutes pure chanting is that the intention is to please Guru and Krishna. Anukulena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. This is the Sarup Lakshana of pure devotional service. Pure chanting is that chanting which is done in pure devotional service. Either in the practice stage or in the perfectional stage. It is still considered Shuddhanam. That Shuddhanam which is done in practice is like the green mango Shuranam, which is expected to ripen in the perfectional stage, in the form of the ripe mango premanam. Shuranam gives prema. Shuranam isn't prema, it gives prema, because it's based on the same principle on which prema is based. Krishnendriya priti ichchadare premanam. You understand? Krishnendriya, Krishna, Indriya, senses. Krishna Indriya priti, love, or ichcha means the desire. It's a very simple thing. The desire to satisfy Krishna's senses is prema. Dari premana. To have that desire means if you're being trained to desire in that way, then it means that you're getting proper training in the matter of pure devotional service by which you will ultimately attain the full-fledged experience of Krishna's satisfaction on the basis of your desire to please him. The whole goal is to please Krishna. Prema Pumartha. So it's very, very essential that we understand what is pure devotional service. Anyavilasita shanyam, gyan karma dinavritam. This is the tatastha lakshana. It is the side effect. It is the side effect of going for the pleasure of Krishna. It is not that you have to give up all your material desires before you can think in terms of giving Krishna pleasure. Raso varjam, raso pyasya, param drishva nivartanti. You can give up the lower taste by experiencing the higher taste. It is not that you give up the lower taste in order to experience the higher taste. You experience the higher taste with and can expect by experiencing that higher taste that your attachment for the lower taste will be dismissed. Therefore, Prabhupada gives the example of pouring milk into the cup of ink, because the milk is like nectar. It is of a greater density. It is heavier. So the ink, when you pour the milk into the cup, the ink naturally rises to the top and flows out of the cup, leaving only the milk within. The more you pour milk in the ink cup, the more the ink is driven out. Therefore, Harinam Eva Kevalam. Day and night, constant chanting of the holy name of Krishna with the intention of pleasing Krishna drives out the ink of all the anarthas, of ahoituki bhajan. Ahoituki apratiyata yayatma suprasidati. How to please yourself is to please Krishna. To engage in pure devotional service for his pleasure without any motivation for one's own selfish purposes, and without any, let's say, interruption. To constantly endeavor. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogantam. Krishna gives the intelligence to those who are doing priti bhajan. Krishnendriya priti ischa. To those who have the desire or the intention to please their guru, they will get guru prema. For those who have the intention, the intelligence, yajanti hi sumedasaha, to please Gora by Jagyai Samkirtana Prayar, they will get Gaur Prema. Gaur Premanand. They will get that. If they have that intention that my performance of Sankirtan is to please the Jagya Purush. The Kali Yuga Jagya Purush is Sankirtan Jagya Purush Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So to please him, to satisfy him, this is Kali Yuga Dharma. And he's come to establish the Yuga Dharma of Nam Sankirtan. So he's the presiding deity of Nam Sankirtan. So our Nam Sankirtan performance should be for his pleasure And by pursuing that yajna with that intention, he will be pleased. He's pleased with the attitude.
Maybe we would have like a real sincere attitude and trying. It helps.
Why not be sincere? Prabhupada was asked, how do you become sincere? And Prabhupada said, by being sincere. Why not be sincere? Why not appreciate that our loving propensity is meant for Krishna?
Maybe, maybe not sincere, but maybe not so like fully ripened.
You have to make the endeavor, conscientious endeavor. Use your intelligence. Act on intelligence, not on mundane sentiment. Mundane sentiment means the desire for sense gratification, including profit, adoration, and distinction. The sentiment to satisfy Krishna is not a mundane sentiment. It's not sense gratification. It's sense gratification for Krishna. In any field of activities, the principle of sense gratification is there. But in Krishna consciousness, sense gratification is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Bhokta. We are his Bhoga. Bhoktaram Jagatapasi. He is the proprietor, Sarvalokamaheshwara. He is the friend. Because he has our welfare in his mind. That's why he's followed us into the material world, this antaryami in the heart. You know, in the body of a worm stool, or the body of an Indragopa germ, the body of a demigod, the body of a pig. You know, he has to see all that. You know. He's been sleepless. He never sleeps. Don't you think it's time to give him a break? Ask him to take rest. Don't worry. Just not. You have to have a heart. Krishna just wants a little consideration. You have to remember that. If we don't remember it, time to time he gives us a slap to remind us. It's very important that we understand this principle. If you try to please Krishna, you take one step toward Krishna. He's never ungrateful. He's so grateful that he'll take 100 steps toward you to help you. But he wants to see your effort. He wants to see at least a spark of sincerity that he will fan into a fire.
Maybe next time I come here, I'll stay for a few months.
Yeah, stay with us and do
Maybe later in the year next year.
yes, further. Hope all the bombs don't start flying around the world. Anyway, if you live through it, you know, if I live through it, we'll see each other, you know, a few years down the line. Whatever you do, you know, even if everyone else, including Ram Roy and me and everyone else, leaves this movement, you should not leave this movement. You should stick it out, through thick and through thin. You know, and be one of the stalwarts that pass the acid test.
If you do the same, our hands should be rising up. You're saying our hands, we should be so fixed that our hands will be like unbreathing as we're dying, so determined. Yeah, they should go and see what these guys are doing too.
Yeah, anyway. Be real, that's all. You just gotta be real. Be real with Krishna. That's what it means to be Krishna conscious. What is it? You need some honey?
Everything is finished.
Giving a little bit of time. of Krishna's childhood pastimes.
Yeah, I had no idea what
And participate in those childhood pastimes by living a transcendental second childhood. You know, everybody loves their childhood days. You know, because there's a certain freedom that you had as a necessarily irresponsible child. You know,
You can do everything in that.
and you can get away with things, almost murder. You know, the same with Krishna and his devotees. You know, they're getting away with things that you can't even imagine. You know, people getting away with. You know, but it's all on a transcendental platform, totally based on simply selfless love. They simply want to give pleasure to Krishna. You know, wouldn't it be nice if we could be like that? Why not be like that? We're supposed to be like that. That's what our real condition is. You know, we simply have to, let's say, regain that natural consciousness, that natural attraction. And these books are meant to help us to regain that natural attraction. You know, so we should be reading these books with the intention that why am I reading these books? So that I can become more attached to that beautiful, nefarious counterpart.
You can't help it.
Yeah, when you read Krishna book, then naturally you see that you can play with Krishna, you know, you can dance with Krishna, you know, you're inviting, just like it's mentioned.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's mentioned that the gopis were coming from the status of ordinary human beings. Then immediately, what does that do to you? When you read something like that, it inspires you because there's some scope for ordinary human beings like us to also get such a position as to dance with Krishna in the rasa dance, or to play, you know, leapfrog with Krishna as cowherd boys, and you know, run after the shadows of the birds, and you know, and pass lunch bags around, and you know, all this fun, you know, or cradling Krishna, you know, and with a cute face, you know.
Hands on.
Yeah, you know, you were there. You could be there. Remember, you know, in America they have, at least when I went to school, there was like a movie series, you know, called You Are There. You know, and that was they had like the, you know, the Civil War, you know, the Columbus discovering America and all these things, you know. There's a, you know, like you get absorbed, and you know, they made the movie in such a way that you feel like you're, you know, you went back in time, in a time capsule, and you're there and seeing all this happening. You know, it's just the same thing. You know, when you hear Krishna book, when you hear these things, you know, it's practically as if we're sitting in the assembly, you know, of you know, they transport us. They're meant to transport us. The books themselves are windows into the spiritual world. You know, they give us a chance to, you know, to have a glimpse of it. And that glimpse is only meant for increasing our attachment. Attachment usually, body attachment. You know, if we increase our attachment to Krishna, you know, and then there's different ways of being attached to Krishna. This is fine-tuning. But at least at the onset, we should be very careful to allow ourselves to be attached to Krishna. Otherwise, you know, we're doing ourselves the greatest violence, and also doing to other people around us. How can we help others become attached to Krishna if we don't allow ourselves to be? Some people, you know, go on Sankirtan and don't.
They go into a different dancing place.
Just like the question that there was somebody asked Jayashiva this morning, you know, that when we're doing Mishra Bhakti, mixed with modes of nature, Bhakti mixed with you know, Tamaguna and Rajaguna, etc., or Sattva-guna, you know, that, you know, that are we going to get the reactions of karma or what? You know, and Kashila wasn't able to answer it very nicely. And I made at least I made the point that when you're initiated, once you're initiated, there is no karma. You know, Shila tried to say that, well, it's Krishna giving token punishments or something. But what is he punishing you for? He's punishing you for aparad. Once you're initiated, you're culpable for aparad.
Culpable, I got you.
In other words,
Culpable.
the aparad is that you're maintaining attachments, material attachments, in spite of hearing some instruction. The instruction
Yeah,
is
there's also offense.
Triguna Vishaya Veda Nishtriguna Bhavarjuna. Krishna's advising Arjuna that the Vedas deal with mainly with the modes of material nature, three modes of material nature. Rise above the modes of material nature. He's instructing him, rise above the modes of material nature. But we're saying that no, but what about, you know, my boulder? I'm supposed to carry this boulder of Tamagun, you know. But Krishna's saying, no, throw down your boulder and dance in ecstasy in kirtan. You know, but we're going to say, no, we can't. I got my Tamagun. You know. So that means that if you're attached to any of the modes, any manifestations or transformations of the modes of material nature, then it means that you're maintaining material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions. So if you're going down the highway, you know, in your Sankirtan van, you know, and just, you know, out of motive passion, you floor it, you know, just to get that rush of going down the highway at 100 miles an hour, you know, and run into a tree or something, then you're not getting karmic reaction as such. You're getting the reaction to your aparad.
You made that distinction.
Yes.
But I don't know why he didn't come upon it himself. Maybe just because when you're sitting
I
there,
just wasn't thinking about it.
yeah, when you're sitting there,
He tried to say that, you know, that's a whole nother book, you know, whole nother class.
I think.
But it could have been summed up.
Okay.
He didn't catch that point, but you know, he tried to say that Krishna's giving token punishment. But he's giving you the reaction to your offense. Offense against the Lord.
Okay, but I thought the devotee that asked the question, he was Mishra Bhakti is when you're not, isn't it when you're not initiated? No?
No, he was talking about devotees.
Okay. When devotees are maintaining material practice or
If their activities are still influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance, that's what he was talking about. So if they're influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance, it means they're not taking shelter of the Shuddha Sattvic process of pure devotional service. You know, due to maintaining material passion.
When someone is in Shuddha Sattva, he looks, when someone looks from outside, that he is in a pure good, that he is in a goodness, like material goodness,
No.
or he
they call it
doesn't,
No.
clearing state.
could be,
No, Shuddha Sattva means pure devotional service.
he might look after
He might look like he's in Tamagun. He might look like he's in Rajagun.
his heart.
Shuddha Sattva simply means that he's absorbed in pure devotional pursuit for the pleasure of Krishna.
So someone says, first you're getting goodness, then might happen that this go on. That is
No.
the word we do.
It's not exactly like that. Krishna is always Shuddha Sattva. Prasanam is always Shuddha Sattva. So the point is that when Krishna's like the sun, who can purify even the place where urine and stool is. So even you put urine stool in relationship to the sun, that urine stool becomes purified, not by coming to the mode of goodness, which is just dry stool. Wet stool and dry stool, by associating a wet stool with a dry stool, it doesn't bring one to the platform of purity. It simply brings one to the platform of dry stool.
It is also dirty.
Yes.
In like
Contamination. Stool is stool, wet stool or dry stool. There's wet stool, there's wet stool with a little crust on top, and then there's thoroughly dry stool.
You'd probably be making a hog going to ecstasy if you heard all that type of discussion.
So we're not interested in the principle of let's say associating ourselves with the mode of goodness. What we're interested in associating ourselves with Krishna through bhakti yoga, which it means pure devotional service. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevata sagunan samati taitan brahma bhuya
Midnight,
kalpate.
11:30,
I have no idea what time it is.
11 times, but they're ringing as if it's 12.
Where's my clock?
it's up on
No,
the
it's
altar.
11:30.
11:30. It's ridiculous.
Oof.
Are you- I know what they want to do. They want to go, I don't know, eat or something, so they rang at 12, and they don't want...
12 or 11?
11:30.
No, but did they ring 12 or 11? They probably let it ring 11.
Why
They
the-
well,
Oh, they missed it.
They will not read.
Probably happens all the time, we don't notice it.
Yeah, you can go and see. There now.
Let's not discuss this in view of the present wonderful subject matter we're
Yes.
discussing.
Plus, can you get to, can you sum up this drive?
The point is, I've already summed it up. Bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati kaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. By associating yourself with the Shuddha Sattvic nature of the principle of Krishna and things which are related with Krishna. Just like if you come in contact with Krishna Prasadam. Krishna Prasadam is Antaranga Shakti. So by associating yourself, even though you're in Maya, by taking this Krishna Prasadam, you become free from Maya. The same thing if you come before the deity, even though you're not able to see, but if you continue to come before the deity, because the deity is Shuddha Sattva. Similarly, devotional service, pure devotional service is Shuddha Sattva. Pure devotional service means hearing about Krishna. So we hear about Krishna, we associate with Krishna subject matter, which is Shuddha Sattva by nature. That is the process of pure devotional service. Automatically, by associating with Shuddha Sattva, one becomes purified from the lower modes and situated in Shuddha Sattva. If you simply absorb yourself in worrying about elevating yourself to the mode of goodness, you may elevate yourself to the mode of goodness, but you won't be associating with Shuddha Sattva by concerning yourself with that. The important thing is to focus on Krishna. Shoot for the rhinoceros.
And catch a mouse.
It's, it's not a difficult thing. Sometimes devotees ask the question that, by performing devotional service, you're supposed to transcend the modes of nature, and come to the level of Brahman. But we haven't transcended the modes of nature and come to the level of Brahman yet. So therefore we're slipping and sliding and falling down. So what to do? The answer is engage in devotional service. Bhakti yogena sevate. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps and keep going on the basis of the principle of associating with Shuddha Sattva. Shrinvatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana. What is it?
Hidyo.
Vidyantasto Yabadrani Virunati Surisatam. That by this Shravanam Kirtana, that this is pious activity, but it's not ordinary pious activity, it's Shuddha Sattvic activity. Hearing about Krishna. That Krishna within the heart becomes pleased that you're hearing about him, and from within the heart, he cleanses material contamination from the heart.
Okay, can you explain to me in short, what's the difference between Shuddha Sattva and
Sattva gun?
and devotional service in the mode of goodness? I mean, is there a distinction, or are they the same?
The devotional service in the mode of goodness is contaminated by an impure motivation.
Okay.
When it says akama sarvakama va moksha kama udarati, he being a bhakti yogina, this bhakti yogina doesn't mean mishra bhakti. It means, he says, even though you have all these other desires, engage in pure devotional service without considering your attachment to these other desires for the fulfillment of all your desires. In other words, all your desires will ultimately be fulfilled anyway.
But in the moment you're...
But yes, but you're not. But in other words, you're not being encouraged to worship Krishna with the expectation of getting something in return. You're being encouraged to engage in bhakti yoga for the pleasure of Krishna. Yes. So your devotional service means that you're doing for the pleasure of Krishna under the guidance of the spiritual master. You're being trained how to do for the pleasure of Krishna. Your attitude is being reformed, etc. So that you're getting the full benefit of Krishna's association, by having a proper attitude with Krishna and to reveal himself to a greater degree to you. But if it's devotional service mixed with the mode of goodness, then there's a sense of desiring something such as peace, personal satisfaction, etc.
It's the same as the divine form to the heavenly form.
Yeah, divine one.
Divine.
No,
That's the right.
You have to become distinct in your attitude of trying to exploit Krishna for anything. It's like generally those who are doing devotional service in the mode of goodness, they have aspirations for mukti. They have aspirations for increased knowledge.
Yeah, I'm in this middle, I'm giving it up. And I'm very dependent to myself.
But the pure devotional service, we have to clearly understand what is pure devotional service so that we can engage in pure devotional